There's a happy 60s couple, nosy neighbors, quack doctors, and an orgy for senior citizens? Hello, Popcorn Recap here. Today, we'll talk about a 1968 horror drama movie called Rosemary's Baby, or also known as The Best Contraceptive. Before we start, be sure to like the video, drop a comment, and subscribe to the channel if you dig the summary. The film begins with Guy and Rosemary meeting up with an apartment owner. On the way to check out the apartment, Rosemary proudly tells the owner that Guy is an actor and has been in some plays and commercials. The owner shows them around the apartment and reveals that the previous tenant died because of a coma. Soon after that, the owner wonders why a cabinet is covering one of the closet doors in the house. Guy helps the owner move the heavy cabinet, and they joke that it was why the previous tenant died. Since she loves the apartment, Rosemary forces Guy to get it. Later that day, they visit Rosemary's friend, Hutch. They tell him about the apartment they are planning on getting. Hutch shares scary rumors about witchcraft being practiced in that apartment years ago. Despite their friend's warning, the couple decides to get the apartment and move in. Yeah, never listen to scary rumors in horror movies. On the first night in the apartment, Guy and Rosemary eat dinner on the floor. For some reason, Rosemary gets horny in the middle of eating dinner and asks Guy to make love to her. Without uttering a word, the couple gets down to business right away. Now that's the relationship I want to have. Less talk, more tapping. A few days later, Rosemary meets Terry in the basement while doing her laundry. Terry tells her that she lives with Rosemary's elderly neighbor, the Castevets. She then flexes her bling but claims it's for good luck after Rosemary complains about its putrid smell. Probably smells like the older lady's upper lip. That night, Rosemary and Guy overhear their elderly neighbors arguing. Not long after that, they hear them chanting for some strange ritual. If that were me, I'd pack up and leave that night. I mean, if that isn't a red flag that you're living with psychos, then I don't know what is. A few nights later, the couple notices police outside their apartment building. As the couple gets closer, they discover that Terry jumped out the window from the 7th floor. Not long after that, Roman and Minnie Castevet arrive at the scene. They don't believe the news at first but change their minds after the police show them Terry's body. The Castevets say the girl has no family, but Rosemary steps in and says she has a brother in the Navy. In the morning, Minnie visits Rosemary and admires her work on the apartment. Rosemary shares that she and Guy are planning to have children someday. Minnie then invites Rosemary for dinner at her apartment and she agrees. When Guy arrives home, he's disappointed about not getting the role he auditioned for recently. While hesitant, Guy agrees to join the Castevets for dinner after Rosemary guilt trips him for it. Later that night, the Castevets welcome the couple into their home. They have a pleasant talk about their past travels and Guy's work as an actor. When the couple returns home later, they make fun of the Castevets and their dinner preparations. Rosemary then gets surprised that Guy wants to continue seeing their neighbors. It turns out that he believes Roman can help him with his acting career. The next day, Minnie and her friend Laura Louise visit Rosemary. They barge into her house as if they own it and disturb Rosemary's alone time. Rosemary hides her frustrations and does her best to be polite. In return for letting them hang out, Minnie gives her the same stinky tannis root necklace that Terry had. Rosemary shows the necklace to Guy after tucking it away in her drawer. Shortly after that, Guy receives a call and gets the acting role he wants. It turns out that the person that got it before suddenly became blind. One afternoon, Rosemary vents her frustrations at Hutch. She says that Guy has been too focused on his role that he's starting to neglect her needs. To Rosemary's surprise, Guy apologizes to her when she gets home. He then asks her to have a baby with him, making Rosemary happy. They waste no time and celebrate their decision with a romantic dinner. Then, Minnie interrupts to bring the couple some desserts. Rosemary says the dessert tastes weird, but her husband tells her to be polite and finish it. As a compromise, Rosemary eats some and sneakily throws away the rest. Just like me whenever I have dinner with my in-laws. After their dinner, Rosemary starts feeling dizzy, so Guy carries her to the bed. She starts having a happy dream while her husband removes her clothing to make her more comfortable. The dream quickly turns gloomy and Rosemary starts having strange visions. Eventually, the dream takes her to a dark room with a bed in the middle. While lying in bed, Rosemary gets surrounded by naked senior citizens. They begin their ritual, and Rosemary sees that Guy is with them. I know I'm kinky, but this is some next level stuff. What a bunch of pervy old-timers. Not long after that, Rosemary notices her legs are bound, and a strange creature approaches her. The beast mounts Rosemary and starts forcefully breeding her. Suddenly, she realizes that it isn't a dream, but someone knocks her out. When she wakes up in the morning, she sees scratch marks on her back. Guy says that he got rough after tapping her while she was unconscious. Rosemary says that someone inhuman was forcing himself on her, and Guy thanks her for the insult. The couple then prepares to wait for news about Rosemary getting pregnant. A few days later, Dr. Hill calls Rosemary to deliver the good news for her. She tells her husband about it, and an excited Guy rushes to inform the Castevets. An excited Minnie and Roman immediately visit Rosemary to celebrate. The nosy neighbors then force Rosemary to drop Dr. Hill for another doctor named Dr. Saperstein. Later that night, Rosemary starts feeling restless, so she wears the tannis root charm. The next day, she visits Dr. Saperstein, and he tells her to ignore all books or advice about pregnancy from the modern world. He also tells Rosemary to avoid taking vitamin pills and drink Minnie's organic and vegan smoothie every day instead. If Rosemary can't see through that in-your-face scam, then I got some snake oil for her to purchase. A few days later, Rosemary gets the ugliest haircut available in her era and complains to Saperstein about experiencing pain. He tells her it's normal, so she should bear with it and stop being a weakling wife. Unwilling to be called a weakling, Rosemary starts eating raw meat like her caveman ancestors. One day, Hutch visits Rosemary and shows his concern about her losing weight. She then tells him that she's on the Spartan diet and that she'll be fine. The talk gets interrupted after Roman arrives and starts being a nosy neighbor like his wife. Hutch sees Rosemary's tannis root necklace and complains it smells like crap. Guy arrives and apologizes to Hutch for them not getting in touch with him much lately. When Hutch leaves, he loses one of his gloves but can't find it in the apartment. Later that night, Rosemary receives a call from Hutch. He wants to talk to her about something important. Unwilling to discuss things on the phone, Hutch asks Rosemary to meet him for lunch the next day and she agrees. The next day, Rosemary learns that Hutch suddenly fell ill and is now in a coma. In the next few days, Rosemary's discomfort intensifies, but she continues to eat raw meat. She eventually realizes that something is wrong and stops taking mini smoothies. One night during her baby shower, Rosemary cries in front of her friends. A distressed guy tries to enter the room, but Rosemary's friends don't let him. The girls then tell Rosemary to get a second opinion from Dr. Hill. When Rosemary tells Guy about it later, he gets furious. He believes they already have the best doctor in town and it will be insulting to seek a second opinion. During their argument, Rosemary feels her baby kick and forgets about everything that has happened so far. They start buying stuff for the baby the next day and prepare the baby's room. Sometime later, Rosemary learns that Hutch has passed away. She goes to his funeral and receives a book he left for her. He also left her a message saying that the name is an anagram. When she arrives home later, Rosemary consumes the smoothie and cake that Minnie brings her. She then reads the book and discovers it's about witchcraft. Rosemary finds that Hutch marked certain words and pages. She also learns that tannis root is a fungus known as the devil's pepper. Didn't she already get a taste of that during the ritual? Recalling the message about the anagram, Rosemary uses Scrabble tiles to figure out what Hutch wants her to know. A few moments later, she discovers that Roman Castevet is the son of an evil sorcerer mentioned in the book. Roman is Stephen Marcato. Rosemary shares all her discoveries with Guy, but he brushes it off as crazy talk. Scared of all the horrible things she read in the book, Rosemary freaks out. She demands that they move out and swears that she'll do everything to keep her child safe. Dr. Saperstein and Guy tell Rosemary that she's overreacting to the story the next day. They also convince her not to move by saying that the Roman Castevet is dying and the old couple will soon leave for his final trip. When they arrive home, Rosemary learns that Guy threw away the book that Hutch left for her. Unwilling to give up on learning the truth, Rosemary goes to the local bookstore for a new book about witchcraft. She even throws Minnie's stinky tannis root charm on her way there. Rosemary learns more about the ways of the witch. She decides to speak to the actor that went blind and discovers her husband took something from him the day he went blind. She assumes that Guy used witchcraft to get the acting role he wanted. Moments later, Rosemary takes her suitcase and goes to Saperstein's office. While waiting for her turn, Saperstein's secretary reveals that the doctor also has a tannis root charm. Realizing that he's also involved with the witches, Rosemary decides to seek the help of Dr. Hill. She meets up with him in the evening and tells him everything she knows. From using witchcraft on her food up to her husband blinding someone for a job, she tells Dr. Hill everything. To her surprise, Dr. Hill believes her story and tells her to rest in his clinic. Unfortunately, Rosemary wakes up to Dr. Hill bringing Dr. Saperstein and Guy inside the room. Saperstein tells her not to make a scene or he'll send her to the mental hospital. Helpless, Rosemary follows the men and returns to their apartment. Before entering the elevator, Rosemary distracts everyone and rides the elevator alone. She then locks herself in the apartment and calls her friend. Since her friend isn't home yet, she leaves a message for her. While that happens, two men sneak behind her and open the front door. Saperstein and Guy barge in and sedate Rosemary. Throughout that time, she continues apologizing for failing to defend her baby. When she wakes up, she sees a happy Guy, and he tells her that their baby boy has been born. Relieved, Rosemary relaxes and goes back to sleep. When she wakes up again, Saperstein tells her that the baby died. Rosemary freaks out, and Guy tries to calm her down. It doesn't work, so they sedate her again. In the next few days, they keep Rosemary calm by drugging her. Guy talks about his career lifting off in the next few days. Rosemary then demands he shows his shoulders because the books say he'll have a mark on them. Guy flexes his muscles and reveals his skin is flawless and blemish-free. Sometime later, Rosemary hears a baby crying and starts doubting everything again. She also stops taking the pills they are giving her and starts recovering her strength. One day, she goes to the closet where the cabinet was when they first moved into the apartment. She discovers a hidden door there that connects to the other apartment. Armed with a knife, Rosemary enters the door and walks into a room filled with people having tea. She discovers her husband there along with the Casevets. She also finds a crib covered with a black veil, and inside it is her son. Rosemary goes for a look and gets terrified of what she sees. It turns out that her baby looks like a monster. Roman reveals it's natural because the father is the devil himself. While everyone in the room sings their praise for the devil, Rosemary is in disbelief. Roman reveals that the devil chose her because she is the most submissive and breedable woman on earth. Guy tries justifying his actions by saying they are getting a lot in return. In response, Rosemary spits on his face. After that, she approaches the crying child and Roman lets her be. The movie ends after Rosemary accepts her fate and finds peace after her demon baby stops crying. Sheesh, baby had a face that only a mother could love.
Subscribe for more videos like this. Turn on notifications and leave a like. It really helps the channel.